Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi.
Hare Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. This is Arvind Das from Chicago.
Hare Krishna Arvind Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All my obeisances to Guru Maharaj, all obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. This is Shailaja from India.
Hare Krishna Shailija Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
From where you are joining, Mataji?
I am joining from Hyderabad, India.
Oh, welcome to the conference call, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, and all glories to the assemblies of devotees. This is Srinivas and Lavanya from Dallas, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Srinivas Prabhuji and Lavanya Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Lavanya Mataji, Hare Krishna Vardhana Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. This is Vinita Devidasi.
Hare Krishna Vinita Gandhurika Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Vardhana Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. This is Shama Gauri Dasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna Shama Gauri Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Radha Damodar Das and Ratmaya from Austin, Texas. Please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to all the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Radha Damodar Prabhuji and Atma Maya Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Is anybody else would like to introduce themselves?
I don't think so, Mataji.
Mataji, is Prabhuji on the call, Mataji?
Yes, yes, Mataji. I can make him co-host.
With what name? Okay, I saw Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Yes, I saw Mataji.
Welcoming all of you to the Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Akincana Darshan Prabhuji. Prabhuji is going to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 29th chapter, 34 and 35 verse. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada, all goes to Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving your valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening us on this topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. To give us an introduction for Prabhuji, I'll hand out the call to Srinivas Prabhu. Prabhu, are you present on the call, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Please take it.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to assembled devotees. We are very fortunate today to have His Grace Akincana Krishna Das Prabhuji in our call today. I just wanted to give a brief introduction about Prabhuji and then we can get into the call. Prabhuji is from Mumbai. He hails from Mumbai and he did his graduation in electronics and telecom engineering and post-graduation in business management, and after that he had a couple of years of stint in working in the industry for Blue Star Limited and PC Soft Private Limited. Later, Prabhuji has dedicated to full-time monastic services, brahmacharya in ISKCON from the year 1999, He is a disciple of His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj, and he got initiated in 2001. Later, Prabhuji has involved in like serving as a value educator in schools, teaching Bhagavad Gita for college youth, and giving seminars for corporate young professionals on stress and time management. And also Prabhuji is giving the Bhagavad Gita principles for a satisfying life and motivational seminars for the youths in ISKCON Chowpatti's Prerana Youth Fests. He is regular Srimad Bhagavatam speaker in ISKCON Girgaon Chowpatty. He has been taking weekly spiritual discourses for devotee communities in Panvel, Khargar, and Seawoods, and like South Mumbai area. He also organizes 2-month spiritual trips and talks for the British sabbatical youths from the Bhaktivedanta Manor every year from London. So Prabhuji, we are very fortunate to have you today on our call. Please accept my humble obeisances and welcome to the group and for the class today. And thanks for your association and valuable time to us, Prabhuji. Please take over the call. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for inviting me into your group.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Really appreciate the opportunity you have given me to render this service to all of you. So I'm generally used to speaking to a congregation whom I know already. So it helps me mold my talk according to the audience because I know them well. However, I take my chances. You'll have to bear with me today, being the first time. So anyway, I think that we are supposed to start with a kirtan or something, or do I directly start? How do I go about it?
Just do your prayers and get into the sloka, Prabhuji.
Okay, so we'll just chant the maybe the Om Ajnanatimirandasya prayers.
Yes,
Yeah?
Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yes.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Apidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Vancha Kalpatarubhescha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhattavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. So do we chant the verses all together or how do we do it? Should I display the verse on the screen?
Yes, Prabhu, if you can, you are the co-host, you can display or else we can display from our screen.
Okay, I can do it.
Thank you,
All right.
Prabhu.
Yeah. Naikantatah pratikaraha.
Prabhuji, everybody is on mute, so you can.
Okay. I mean, you all can unmute and you all can repeat after me. Naikantatah pratikaraha.
Naikantakah pratikaraha
Karmanam karma kevalam.
Karmanam karma kevalam
Vayam hi avidyopasritam.
hi avidyopatam
Swapne swapnaivanaga.
Swapne swapna iva naga
Na, never.
No,
never.
Ekantatah, ultimately.
Ekantataha, ultimately.
Ultimately,
Pratikaraha, counteraction.
Pratikara, counteraction.
Karmanam, of different activities.
Karmana, different
of different
activities.
activities,
Karma, another activity.
Karma, another
another
activity.
activity,
Kevalam, only.
Kevalam, only.
only,
Dvayam, both.
Dvayam, both.
both,
Because.
Because.
because,
Avidya, due to illusion.
Avidya, due to
yeah, due to
illusion.
illusion,
Upasritam,
upashritam,
accepted.
Accepted.
accepted,
Swapne, in a dream.
Swapne, in a dream.
in a dream,
Swapnaha, a dream.
Swapnaha, a dream.
a dream,
Eva, like.
Eva,
like,
Anaga, O you who are free from sinful activities.
Anagha,
Anaga,
you who are
who
free
are
from
free
sinful
from the
activities.
sinful activities.
Translation. Narad continued, O you who are free from all sinful activity, no one can counteract the effects of fruitive activity simply by manufacturing a different activity devoid of Krishna consciousness. All such activity is due to our ignorance. When we have a troublesome dream, we cannot relieve it with a troublesome hallucination. One can counteract a dream only by awaking. Similarly, our material existence is due to our ignorance, an illusion. Unless we awaken to Krishna consciousness, we cannot be relieved of such dreams. For the ultimate solution to all problems, we must awaken to Krishna consciousness. Purport. There are two kinds of fruitive activity. We can place the burden on the head or we can place it on the shoulder. Actually, keeping the burden in either place is the same. The transferal, however, is taking place under the name of counteraction. In this connection, Prahlad Maharaj said that fools and rascals in the material world plan so gorgeously for bodily comfort without knowing that such arrangements, even if successful, are only Maya. People are working hard day and night for the illusory happiness of the body. This is not a way to achieve happiness. One has to get out of this material entanglement and return home back to Godhead. That is real happiness. The Vedas therefore enjoin, don't remain in the darkness of this material world. Go to the light of the spiritual world. To counteract the distress of this material body, one has to take on another distressed condition. Both situations are only illusion. There is no gain in taking on one trouble to counteract another trouble. The conclusion is that one cannot be perpetually happy as long as one exists in this material world. The only remedy is to get out of this material world altogether and return home back to Godhead. So there is two verses to discuss. I will begin with this and then I'll go to the next. So this is the 4th canto, 29th chapter, 34th verse, where Narada is speaking with Prachina Bari, the king, who happens to be the Vamshaj, the descendant of the great devotee Dhruva Maharaj. This happened in the Chakshusha Manvantar, that means in the 6th Manvantar period. We are in the 7th Manvantar period, the Vaivasvata Manvantar period, which means that if we calculate, one Manvantara lives for about 306.7 million years. We can safely conclude that this is not less than about 700, 800 million years old story. Very, very old story. Ancient history. We are very fortunate that we have Purana, Bhagavat Puran, and so many such amazing Vedic literatures which give us such information. What happened millions of years ago. Modern history does not have any record of what happened more than 2000 years ago. It's all patchwork, little bit here and there. Even Jesus Christ, what he did from the age of 13 to 30 is not known. It's a mystery. It's a kind of amnesia which the modern man suffers because he doesn't know history. And not just any history, but actually history which really matters. Which really matters, which really purify us. So we have our Puranas, we have our Itihas, which gives us these accounts of very, very old occurrences and which are full of teachings, so many important lessons to learn. So the great guru of the universe, Sri Narada, who also happens to be our Sampradaya, one of the Acharyas, is being very merciful on seeing that how Prachina Parishad, even though being the descendant of Dhruv Maharaj, is taken on a material path. He is a materialistic man. Even though here he has been referred to the word anagha, which means that he's free from sin, extremely pious individual, very, very pious, but subscribing to the Purva Mimamsa of the Vedas, not the Uttar Mimamsa. He's not into the bhakti path, but he was into the materialistic karmakand path, following of the Vedas, doing the ritualistic yagyas for ascension to heaven. And Narad Muni is taking pity on such a person, has instructed him in this very amazing allegorical story of Puranjan. It's an allegorical story which is going on. And he inspires Prachina Parishad to take up to spiritual life. And to summarize, basically at the end of this episode, Prachina Parishad tells Narada that I'm so grateful to you for bringing me onto the path of Uttar Mimamsa, bringing me to the path of devotional service, to the path of liberation. Because none of my acharyas, none of the teachers had previously instructed me on this knowledge. I'm very grateful to you. And he takes up to bhakti and he purifies himself and attains to the Lord's abode. He goes back to Vaikuntha. He gets liberated by the inspiration of Narada. So you see, we are also in a similar situation like Prachina Parishad, or at least I can speak for myself, where we are trapped in all kinds of materialistic activities. And none of our teachers told us about the spiritual path. Neither our parents knew about it. How could they tell us? Neither our teachers, the universities, neither the society, neither the community, none of them told that sense gratification is the cause of all problems. None of us, we have never been informed. And then finally we met the representative of Sri Narada, Srila Prabhupada, who through his disciples and through his organization which he established, through his books, through the inspiration, coming through his disciples and devotees and followers, by which we were not just educated but also given the inspiration to follow on this path of bhakti. So truly, we can say that Srila Prabhupada is a true representative of Narada, and we are like Prachina Parishad. We may be pious, we may not be so pious. However, we can certainly for sure say that we never had, at least I never had an inspiration for bhakti till we met with devotees and till we read these very beautiful verses of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. So here, in this particular two verses, Narada is telling Prachina Parishad that no one can counteract the effects of fruitive activity. Very difficult. How? By taking up to another materialistic activity. That's why there is a very beautiful verse which says, Avashyam anubhoktavyam kritam karma shubhashubham na bhoktam kshiyate karma kalpa koti shatair api. Avashyam anubhoktavyam kritam karma shubhashubham. What does that mean? Is that everyone is most certainly going to experience the results of their karma. अवश्यम अनुभोक्तव्यम कृतम कर्म, जो भी कर्म किए हैं उसको भुगतना पड़ेगा इस जन्म में, अगले जन्म में या 100 जन्मों के बाद. Either in this life, next life, or maybe after 1,000,000 lives. But that karma which we have performed is not going to be extinguished. Kalpakoti na bhoktam kshiyate karma. That means if you have not experienced the results of your karma, na bhoktam kshiyate, then that karma is not going to be destroyed just by the passage of time. Kalpa koti shatairapi, even if a kalpa passes, or even a koti kalpa, shatak koti kalpa, that much time, millions and millions of years also if it passes, but the karmic reactions will only wait to take effect, because they will only be vanquished when you have experienced them. That is the law of karma. Infallible law of karma, which has been programmed into our minds. It cannot go anywhere. And there are only two ways. One is you experience the karma. If you've done some punya, okay, you've given somebody some kind of donation, you have offered them something to eat or whatever, all these gets piled up, and you will have to also come back and experience the goodness. Or you have done harm to somebody, okay, you will have to come back and suffer for that. That is one way of going through all your karmas, all right. But another way is through the process of bhakti. And we all know Brahma speaks in the Brahma Samhita, karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. Yes, we know that process of bhakti. So therefore here we can see, and if you read the Srimad Bhagavat or Srimad Bhagavad Gita or Mahabharata, we see Mahabharata is filled with such stories. Filled with such stories. We'll take, for example, the story of Bhishma Pitamaha. Who was he? He was a god. He was Dhyuvasu, one of the 8 gods, 8 Vasus, Ashtavasu. And then what happened? He committed an offense to Vashishta. He tried to steal his cow. And then what happened as a result? Not just him, but his wife and all his 7 brothers get cursed. And then what happens? You see, there is trouble in paradise, as they say in English. I'm sure you must have heard this phrase, trouble in paradise. The general conception that people have is that paradise is a place of no suffering. But it is not true. It's only Vaikuntha which is a place of no suffering. But all, even in heaven, now people who follow the karma kand, their main aspiration is to go to heaven or go to paradise. But what is paradise? There is trouble in paradise. And Mahabharata and Bhagavat, they have so many descriptions of Indra getting into trouble with the demons, there's war between them, and then some rishi curses them, and some Brihaspati goes away, and then Indra gets an offense of offending. You see, all these things are what other talks are the episodes of what's happened in heaven. There's trouble in paradise. So, who intelligent person would ultimately reading all these descriptions would want to go to heaven? The most intelligent question that a person would ask is there a place where there is no suffering? And then we know that Bhishma, he comes down and he Vasu, he takes incarnation as a Bhishma Pitamaha, and he spends his entire long life of suffering. He had a long life. People want to live long lives, but where is the happiness? Where is the satisfaction? Bhishma suffered all throughout. And his wife, even she incarnated as who? As Amba, whom he happened to kidnap as a unfortunate situation. Amba, Ambika, Ambalika. He went and kidnapped them for his cousin, for his brother, Vichitra Virya. But she was in love with somebody else, and then she said, "Well, I can't marry this man because I am already in love with Shalya. Take me back." So he said, "All right." He was a gentleman. He took her back, and then that Shalya rejected her, saying that, "No, no, I cannot marry you. You've been touched by another man." And then she comes and tells Bhishma, "You marry me now because he's not accepting me." Bhishma says, "Sorry, I'm a brahmachari. I have taken the vow of being celibate." And then she says, "Then now what?" And then all this trouble begins. And then she goes to Parshuram, and then Parshuram says, "Okay, I'll help you." And then he goes and instructs Bhishma that you accept her as your wife, or you fight with me. And then he says, "I cannot break my vow." And then he ends up fighting with Parshuram. And then Parshuram could not overpower him. So Parshuram tells Amba that, "I'm sorry, I tried my best. So now you're on your way, on your own." And then Amba, she gives up her body. She does austerities to be reborn again as, Shikandi. And then Shikandi becomes the cause of Bhishma's death. Just see the trouble. And then who's Shikandi actually? Who's Amba? Is nothing but Bhishma's wife in the past incarnation as a god. Vasu's wife became Amba, and then again, and she became the cause of her own husband's death in the next life. That is. So therefore, the path of Purva Mimamsa, the path of ascension to heaven, the promise that you will be happy by following fruitive activities, is a farce. It is a illusion propagated by the Vedas, actually. And therefore, Narada even chastises Vedavyas for putting such things into the Vedas. Why did you put it? Why you think people are going to be happy by giving them these false promises of ascension to heaven as a means to happiness? And Vedavyas was despondent, but we know the reason why he gave it. Parokshavad vedoyam balana manushasanam karma mokshaya karmani vidatte yagadam yatha. The Bhagavatam begins with that. Parokshavad vedoyam. Just as a mother, she tries to give medicines to her child by sugarcoating it. The purpose of mother is to give the medicine. Sugarcoating is an incentive only. Similarly, Veda Vyas, actually, his main message was nivritti, bhakti. But generally, people are not interested in bhakti. So therefore, he sugarcoated it with promises of piety and promises of, you know, uh, you know, happiness in heaven and all those other things. Parokshavaado Vedoyam, which means indirectly Veda Vyas wanted to. That was his motive. His motive was not wrong, but his method was probably not the best. And therefore Narada told Veda Vyas, and now you write a literature which will contain the essence. Straight, get to the point, cut to the chase, as they say. So Veda Vyas then wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam, and he put bhakti, main message of Nivritti, the Uttar Mimams, which was left out from the Vedas. Traigunyo Vishaya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna Nirdvandva Nitya Sattvastu Niryoga Kshema Atma. What is Krishna telling Arjuna? Give up these. Rise above the Vedas. So that was the process. So therefore, it is a dream. We are in a dream state, thinking that we are the body, and that ignorance and illusion is the cause of all our problems. And unless that is not tackled, we cannot get a permanent solution. There is no permanent residence here. It's all temporary place, whether in heaven or anywhere, whether we are in India or we are in America or any part of the world. There are different kinds of problems, and it's all temporary place. It's a matter of time only. 50 years, 60 years, then it's all gone. When we fill up these forms, these government forms like passports or visa or applications and all, then we have to fill in, these fields: name, father's name, permanent address, temporary address 1, temporary address 2. But actually, there is no such thing as permanent address. Everything is temporary address only. Ideally, it should be temporary address 1, temporary address 2, temporary address 3. There is no such thing as permanent address in this world. Because for the soul, being eternal, a matter of 70, 80 years is like temporary only. He has to change his position. And as long as we are, that's why Prahlad Maharaj is saying in his verse that Tat sadhu manye suryavarya dehinam sada samudvigna dhyam asatgrahat hitvatma patam graham dakupam vanam gato yat dharim ashrayet. Oh Father Hiranyakashipu, my great father, your problems are because you have accepted this temporary home as your shelter. Griham andhakupa hitvatma patam graham vanam gato yat. And therefore, because as long as you are in a temporary situation, there's insecurity. That is the cause. And it's all because of the illusion that we are this body. How can illusion satisfy anyone? Visualize a situation where a man comes home from work and he's tired, very thirsty. It's been a hot day and he's dehydrated. Comes home and he plunks into his sofa set and he calls his wife, "Hey, bring me a glass of a bottle of cool water, chilled water." So his wife goes in, and by the time she brings out the water, this man is so tired and exhausted that he goes to sleep before drinking water. And then he's dreaming that he's drinking water. He's dreaming that he's drinking water. So what do you think is going to happen? Is he going to be satisfied? Is he going to be satisfied? So that is how it is. The soul in a illusion is trying to do all these things to be happy, but everything he does is nothing but trying to satisfy himself in his dream state. Therefore, Mandukya Upanishad also tells us one very important thing, that there are 4 states that the soul is in. One is a Jagrata. That means when we are awake. Second is swapna, when we sleep. The third is shushupti. That means when we sleep, there is a time, there is a time that we go into a kind of a sleep where we don't even are not even aware. There's no dreams also. So that is known as shushupti. And the last stage is turiya. That means the soul in his spiritual consciousness. You see, so these are all the different states. When we are awake, we are seeing something. Like there was a king who dreamt that he was a butterfly in the night. Sleeping, he dreamt that he was a butterfly. So he was confused. He came to the court that day, to his assembly, called his ministers, and he asked this question to his ministers that, yesterday night I slept and I saw a dream that I am a butterfly. So now I want to ask you this question. I have a doubt. That am I a king who dreamt that I was a butterfly? Or am I a butterfly who's dreaming that I am the king? What is the reality? So then that is a intriguing question. Everyone was thinking about it. Ki kya baat hai yaar? Haan, baat to sahi hai. And everyone was started thinking, yeah, what is the truth? And some people. So one intelligent Muni told the king that, my lord, look, neither that is real, neither this is real. He said, when you dreamt that you were a butterfly, did the king exist? So he said, no. Okay. Now you are a king. So does the butterfly exist? So he said, no. So he said, that means neither the butterfly is real, neither the king is real. But if you see both in the dream and now you as a king, you are existing. Think about it. He told the king that you were existing even in as a butterfly, and you are existing even now as a king. So therefore, you are real. You are a reality. But neither the butterfly, neither the king is a reality. So therefore, a very important message. This is Sankhya, like a philosophy that we think about life. Even this life, when we sleep, it's a dream, and when we wake up, that is also in a sense dream, because even that will come to an end. But the soul is eternal, and he's misidentifying himself, and therefore this has to end. And everything, all the the things in this world, the education system, materialistic association, the propaganda, the billboards, they're all lying to us. They're all lying to us. They're all working together to bolster this illusion that I am this body and I am the enjoyer. And that sense gratification will make me happy. They're all working in tandem. Like, how you see a movie, there's like full cast of 45, 50, 60 or 100, 200 people all working as actors. They all work together to create an illusion. Of the better the illusion, that means the better the movie, you see. And that's exactly what this material world is, where all the people get together to try and convince us that we are the body, we are the enjoyers, I'm independent, there's no God, I can enjoy and be happy. And therefore, you see, we need help. We need help. And therefore, you see, mercifully, Narada has come to Prachina Bari and is telling him If it would not have been for Narada, it is very difficult for Prachi. That's why I decided in the Chaitanya Charitamrit, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, Maya Mugdha Jiver Swatah Nahi Krishna Gyan, Jiver Kripa Koile Krishna Veda Puran. Which means that Maya Mugdha Jiver Swatah Nahi Krishna Gyan. The soul on his own cannot figure out how to get out of this illusion. Maya Mugdha Jiver Swatah Nahi Krishna Gyan. He will never understand who's he, who's God. That's why Jiver Kripa Koile. That's why Krishna, by being merciful on the, living entities, on the souls, what does he do? Krishna Veda Puran. That's why he gives us these Vedas. He gives us these Puranas, by which we can reawaken our true identity. That's why he sends these devotees like Narada, or Narada-like devotees like Srila Prabhupada, or his disciples, wonderful disciples of Srila Prabhupada, who have in such novel ways tried to inspire us to take up to Krishna consciousness. It's very difficult to overcome. Therefore, in Gita, the very famous verse, I'm sure all of you know this verse. Devi esha gunamayi mama maya durityaya mame vaye prapadyanti maya medam. Very difficult to overcome. Devi esha gun mama maya durityaya. Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Jiva jago, Jiva jago. Jiva jago, get up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, sleeping souls. Kota nidra, jao maya pisha chira kole. We are sleeping on the lap of Maya and she's sucking our blood. In Ramayana, there's a wonderful story. Not exactly, it's a folklore kind of. So once, the Vanara, Sena and Vibhishan and all were pulling Hanuman's leg. They were trying to tease him by saying that, Hanuman, it is a sin to go and burn people's houses. So Hanuman said, yeah, I know it. So then why did you go to Lanka and burn people's houses? You burned so many. Lanka ko jala diya tumne. Ye to acha nahi kiya tum. So Hanuman said, well, you know what? Well, I'm not a terrorist. I can tell you that, because I was in fact serving. मैं सेवा कर रहा था. He said, Seva, how are you doing service? So he said, see, being Ram Bhakta, being Ramdas, it is a duty that I, do the Antam Kriya Karam of people, so that they can get a higher destination and go closer to God. When a person dies, you have to do Antim Kriya. So you see, in Lanka, none of them were chanting Hare Krishna. They were all atheists. And seriously, according to the Vedas, someone who's not a spiritual person is actually a living dead person. He's like a zombie. He's a living dead person, and therefore I was doing seva for them. I was cremating their bodies so that they can go back and, they not go back rather, but they will get a higher destination. So I was doing Antim Kriya Karam for them. And truly, one who does not chant is actually Atma Mari hui hai. Their soul is more or less dead. So therefore, here, Narada is telling that you must take up to spiritual life. So we will read the next verse also. Okay, so you may repeat after me, please, if you would like. Arte hi avidyamanepi
अर्थे हि अविद्यमानेऽपि
nani vartate
संस्थिर्नानि वर्तते
manasa lingarupena
मनसा लिङ्गरूपेण
swapne vicarato yatha.
स्वप्ने विचरतो
यथा
Okay, I'm going to skip the synonyms, okay? I'm just going to read the translation. That takes a lot of time. Sometimes we suffer because we see a tiger in a dream or a snake in a vision, but actually there is neither a tiger nor a snake. Thus, we create some situation in a subtle form and suffer the consequences. These sufferings cannot be mitigated unless we are awakened from our dream. That is important, to awaken from this dream. As stated in the Vedas, the living entity is always separate from two kinds of material bodies, the subtle and the gross. All our sufferings are due to these material bodies. This is explained in the Bhagavad Gita 2.14. O Kunti, son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O sign of Bharat, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. Lord Krishna thus informed Arjuna that all the distresses brought about by the body come and go. One has to learn how to tolerate them. Material existence is the cause of all our sufferings, for we do not suffer once we are out of the material condition. The Vedas therefore enjoin that one should factually understand that he is not material, but is actually Brahman. This understanding cannot be fully realized unless one is engaged in Brahman activities, namely devotional service. To get free from the material conditions, one has to take to Krishna consciousness. That is the only remedy. So you see here, even in the Srimad Bhagavatam 6th canto, Yamaraj is telling to the Yamadutas the same verse, similar verse, not the same verse, with the same intent and the same meaning. What is that verse? He says that for all problems of life, evam vimrishya sudhiyo bhagavat anante sarvatmana vidhathe khalu bhava yogam. That means the conclusion of all intelligent people is that to tackle any and all problems of material life is simply to take up to the chanting of Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. This mantra will awaken us. Krishna consciousness will awaken us. So, matras parishas tu kaunteya. This is a very amazing verse. What is matras parisha? The contact of the sense with the sense object. Matra sparsha. Let us analyze this, okay? We have some few minutes. Say you're walking on the road. Something hits you on your head. Ouch! And something falls on the ground. And you're irked. And you look, who threw that? Who threw it? And you are cursing and everything. And then finally you can't find who's the person who tried to injure you. But then when you look down, you find that object which hit you on your head is a very valuable diamond. So now, what will be your reaction? Probably you may think that, okay, if somebody has something more to throw, please feel free. So you see, how our perception changes. That Prabhupada say, Krishna is quoting this, verse to Arjun, Matras Parishastu Kaunteya, is that when we experience happiness and distress, It is nothing but how we have been programmed, how we interpret. There is nothing like happiness and distress, because everything is not but just information. Like when you get hit on the head, all you get is an information. How you interpret it. When you thought it was a stone, you felt bad. But when you look down and you see it's a diamond, then you felt very happy, isn't it? I'll give you another example. Say a child gets admission in an engineering college. He's admitted into the hostel in the campus, and they're trying to bully. The seniors are there. They're trying to rag him and bully him, and they come into his room or they call him, and they get work done out of him, and they give him so many things to do, and he does not like it. Then after a few months, his parents come to visit him in the hostel, and immediately the son goes at the gate, and father has come with a luggage, some luggage. So immediately he grabs the luggage from his father's hand and escorts the father into his hostel, makes him sits him down on his bed and shows him around in the hostel and all those things. You see, now when his seniors would rag him and bully him and make him do work, he would not like it. But then when his father comes, he himself willfully goes and picks up his luggage and brings it to the hostel, and that luggage weight is probably heavier than what his seniors had given him in his hostel. But because there was no love, it was a burden. But when his father arrived, even though the luggage was so heavy, but he happily lifted it. So you see, it is our approach. It is our drishti. It is not the shrishti which needs to be changed. You can't change shrishti. All you can do is you can change your drishti. Because all that your senses are doing to you is giving you information. And what we are doing is we're interpreting it as happiness and distress. Now that's how we have been programmed right from childhood, that this is good, this is bad. Sense gratification is good, sense gratification feels good. And we have been programmed life after life, life after life, life after life in this way. And we are born with a certain mind, with a certain intelligence. The samskaras are so deep that everything that is material seems so good, and spiritual does not seem so nice. We do it part time. Chalo, we came to satsang. Chalo, okay. 1 घंटे का lecture हो गया. Back to materialistic activities. Okay, chanting time. Take a mala. 16 rounds done. 1-2 hours we are chanting Hare Krishna. Then so bhakti is not full time. We do keep a count. 16 only. Because we have been programmed since time immemorial that spiritual not so good, material. Therefore now we have to take the leap of faith in order to purify ourselves to think otherwise. That's why Uttanapad, Uttanapad in Dhruva, the same sampradaya, family lineage, Dhruva's father was Uttanapad. Uttanapad means what? Uttan means up, Pad means feet. One who's having his feet on the top and head down. That means Ulta Khopadi. Uttanapad was reverse-minded. That means what is good he thought is bad, and what is bad he thinks is good. Which means he had two wives, Suniti and Suruchi. Is it not? Suruchi means what? One who is Suruchi, means attached to sense gratification. And Suniti. Suniti means the principles of devotional service. So he was more attached to sense gratification. Vishaya. Vishay means, it comes from the root word vish. Vish and Vishay comes from the same root. Vish means poison. And sense gratification also is poison. Sense gratification, it is said, is more poisonous than wish, because wish only kills you once, but Vishay keeps killing you over many lifetimes. So that was Uttanapat, Ulti Khopadi. That means what is good, he does not like, and what is not good, that he likes. Somebody gives sweet rice, he says, not good. Somebody gives karele ka juice, so wonderful, so tasty, so delicious. Somebody gives bitter medicine, he says, rubbish, this is horrible. And somebody says, here, take this very delicious, sweet poison. Ah, this is very nice, I want it. That is our situation. Our mind is attracted to these reverse things, and therefore the process of bhakti, Krishna says, is so wonderful. That is the only process which is really, really, in the sense that is so acceptable. It is so, that's why this Nam Sankirtanam, Sarva Papa Pranashanam, Kaler Dosh Nide Rajan Asti Hekon Mahan Guna, that very famous verse. Kirtana Deva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Rajit. So this Kali Yuga is full of faults and Dosha Nide Raj Asti Hekon Mahan Guna. But this Kali Yuga has got one good quality, that Kirtanad, Kirtan Eva Krishnasya. So, Kirtan means, it can mean Kirti, which means glorification of God. It could mean either discussing about Krishna, or it could be singing about Krishna. Kirtana Deva Krishnasya. But actually it means to sing in melodies. And if you see that everyone loves melodies, everyone loves music, and there is a proof that YouTube is one of the top 2 social media platforms in the world. Facebook and YouTube are 2 top social media, online medias. And on YouTube, 93% of the videos which are watched are music videos. What does that prove? It proves that people love music. People love melodies. And truly, actually, rhythm and melody is also a constant companion of the soul. It's so natural for everyone to sing and chant. And therefore, Kirtanad eva Krishnas. You see. And Krishna say, why Krishna? And especially because we know that, and if you see that mantra which has been recommended is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If you think about it, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the only mantra which can be strung on a melody in so many different ways. There are other mantras like Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Then there is Om Namo Narayanaya, Jai Shri Krishna, and all those. So many mantras are there, but you can never find such a mantra which is so versatile that you can have one mantra and you can have so many melodies, hundreds and hundreds and thousands of melodies. Clearly, you can understand that this method of bhakti, which has been prescribed by Narada in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Nam Sankirtam, Yasya Papa Pranashanam, this is the method which is most palatable. When it comes to Kirtan, everyone is naturally attracted. There is no austerity, there is no repulsion. But generally, people are repulsed by spiritual things, but you see that everyone loves it, universally accepted. Melody, singing, everyone loves it. So many, you see even on television and all these programs are very famous. These voice and the competitions of singing and all that. So famous. So therefore, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he has brought this Nam Sankirtan. Gaurang Mahaprabhu, from where? In Bengal. And I don't know whether you're in touch with what is going on in India, but there has been a history that in India, most of the top Bollywood singers are from which place? Anyone wants to take a guess? Which state?
West Bengal.
Sorry?
West Bengal.
Yeah, they're from West Bengal. Most of the singers are from West Bengal. Why? Because there has been this culture of kirtan. Mahaprabhu brought it. People who are born in Bengal, I don't know how it is, either God's grace or something, they're born with natural voices, beautiful, sweet voices. They can sing. You see, all these people like Muhammad Aziz and Alka Yagnik and all these people are from Bengal. Actually, they're Bengalis. Why? Because it's there. Mahaprabhu, people in Bengal had this culture of not just in Bengal, all over India actually, but it began from there. It is a Yuga Dharma, and we can understand for sure that it has been designed specifically for Kali Yuga. Kalir dosh nidhe rajanasti ekumhan guna kirtana deva krishnasti mukta sangha param vraje. That we can cross over this ocean of faults. Previously in those days, if you had to emphasize the size of something, you could compare it with an ocean. Because those days, crossing ocean was very difficult. Even if you see in the 1400, when Christopher Columbus wanted to come in search of India and China, another route, he wanted to find another route, westward route. So he went on that side, crossing the ocean, Atlantic Ocean, and he ended up in the Americas. Is it not? 1400s. Why? Because people did not have flights at that time. Now people just take a flight, 19-hour flight, and you are somewhere in Brazil or South America, Australia. You go to Japan or something like that. You can cross an ocean so easily. But those days, crossing ocean was very tough. Very tough. You have to have, people don't make it. Going on a boat was not. But today people don't think it so much. Therefore it is compared to an ocean, very difficult. And so this is like a Hare Krishna Airlines that we can catch and we can cross over so easily. And that is the process which Narad Muni is recommending to Prachina Parishad. That you take up to the bhakti process and you will be freed from the illusion. Because what is the truth? The truth is that we are not these bodies, we are the servants of Krishna. Na ham vipro na cha narapati na pivaishya na shudro na ham varni na cha grahapatir no vanasto yantirva kintu prodhyan nikala parmananda purnamritabdher gopi bhartu padakamalayur dasa dasa anudasa. The soul is neither Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. He is not brahmachari, grasta, vanaprastha or sannyasi. And what is he? He is simply servant of the servant. Gopi bhartu padakamalayur dasa dasa anudasa. He is simply a servant of the servant of the servant of Shri, the Gopis' lotus feet. That is his true identity, and he has forgotten that. And that process of chanting Hare Krishna will revive it. And therefore, we have been very fortunate that we have, been connected not just to our sampradaya but to ISKCON actually. If you see what Prabhupada did, no one else has done, isn't it? I mean, there have been so many acharyas, but Prabhupada's contribution was really, really unique. Somebody in a pious family is already chanting Vishnu Sahasranam and this and that and all. There are so many. That's okay, fine, glories to them. But what Prabhupada has done truly demonstrated that this is possible. People not following any principle are come to the level of becoming acharyas and teachers, spiritual teachers, is truly a wonderful demonstration of the efficacy of the process of chanting Hare Krishna, what it can do. very hope giving to all kinds of people from all walks of life, that it is for everyone. So therefore, Hare Krishna, I would like to stop here. So we would like to take questions. I was told that you all would contribute something. Either you want to give a comment or something, then we can do it now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for wonderful class, Prabhu. It was so
Hare Krishna.
instructional, very valuable points, Prabhu, you shared today. If anybody have any questions or realizations, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Loved your class. Yeah, I was very much interested in that part where you were, you brought in the analogy of, the diamond falling on our head,
Yeah.
And the person in the hospital also, how our experience depends upon our interpretation, right?
Yeah.
Of what
Yeah.
happens to us. It's just information. But when it comes to, for example, heat and cold, I have a little trouble
Can
there.
you repeat that? Can you repeat that?
Yes. When it comes to the experience of heat and cold, right? And when it comes to those physical experiences, I feel like our experience is not just a matter of our, psychological interpretation. In the summertime, we like cold water, but in the wintertime, we don't like. It's a distress for us to experience cold water. We like hot water, and it seems like those experiences are not based on just how we interpret. So I'm trying to figure out how to see our physical experience of, let's say, hot and cold water in summer and winter.
Yeah.
The same hot water, right? It's the same temperature, but in the summertime we have one experience, and in the wintertime we have a different experience. And it seems like it's not just psychological. It seems like it's actual physical. So can you explain that in light of, what you were saying earlier, that, our experiences seems to be dependent on our mental interpretation.
Right. So you see that in a conditioned state, our experiences are material and distorted. And therefore, we learn to see bathing in cool water in summers as pleasurable, and the opposite.
Yeah.
Therefore, Krishna says, when you reach the point of finding no difference, that means you have transcended the mind. This is a proof that we are still material. Our Acharya would give an example. This is a little esoteric. I hope you don't mind. Though he's the Acharya, he gives us this example that when there are lovers, sometimes they bite each other. Yes. Now, being bitten, is it a good experience? If there's no affection, I mean, you would certainly despise it. But you see, I mean, even biting someone can be pleasurable. So therefore, it's how you approach it. We may not realize it right now, but we must have faith that the acharyas are saying it, that if you reach a point that you will see no difference between hot and cold, you will see no difference between a gold or with a pebble or a stone, and you will see no difference between honor and dishonor. That is the time when that's why, because you'll, like, examples are given, like when a lady, she's just newly married, and she wants to impress her husband and her in-laws. So even though it may be hot, but she'll go and she'll go into the kitchen, and even though she's sweating, it's sweltering heat there, and there are 2-3 furnaces burning, but she's so absorbed, her mind is so absorbed in making the best dish, that her mind is not focused on the heat part. She does not realize it. So through meditation and through yoga, when a devotee falls in love with God, he's so much in love that he does not care. All he's bothered about is service, whether it is hot or cold. It really is immaterial for him. So at our stage, we may not be, we need somebody to tell us what is right actually. Even, are we happy? We may think we are happy, but we are not. Like a drunk person, like my senior used to tell me one example, that there was a premier institute, an engineering institute in India, and some students got badly drunk. So one student, he fell down. It was heavily raining outside this campus. He got out of the gate and he fell down, and he was literally drowning in the gutter water. So some students immediately came and they picked him up, and you know what he says? He says, "Hey, don't bother me. I'm okay." So you see, we don't even know whether we are happy. Uh, it takes someone to tell us whether we are happy. We think we are happy, but we are not happy. That's how it is. I mean, I don't know whether you're getting the point or not. Now, the drunk person is thinking he's okay. Therefore, we need to put faith that when the scripture says that there will be a time through practice and yoga and sadhana, that we can elevate our minds to a level where we cannot see, or we interpret even difficult situations as something so pleasurable, so wonderful. That is something which we have to put faith on, because we are not in a position to we do make mistakes, is it not? Our experiences are very limited, our minds are very, very limited. Therefore we probably I don't know if that makes sense to you.
No, it makes complete sense, and you just make me realize that it's my intense aversion to cold. I have such a, for me, cold is so deeply, deeply painful that it's inconceivable to imagine that one day I will see it as, in the same way as warmth,
Yes.
So
I would like to ask you, suppose somebody tells you, like when it's very cold, it's a very cold day, and someone tells you that take bath with ice water. Would you like it?
Of course
You'll
not.
certainly say, no, we don't like it. But now, there is something called as ice bucket challenge.
Yeah.
Have you heard of this ice bucket challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah, so people, they do take this, voluntarily take up this ice bucket challenge. They take a bucket of ice water and they put it over their head and they video it and then they put it on the internet. And it's fun. They're enjoying it. The mind is so strange, how it functions.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's one point for you to,
No, but yeah, you totally clarified everything. It's my you made me realize it's really my attachment to warmth in the winter that kept me from really understanding before, how the psychological interpretation applies even to heat and cold,
Yeah.
You, like you say, you have to have, at this stage, I simply have to have faith that it's possible, because right now at my stage it's inconceivable, but I do have faith. I do have faith that it's possible, because I see how, things that are initially interpreted as distressing, or like the hostel example you gave, of the boy carrying the luggage, It's, things like that. It gives you faith that, one day, when we're not so conditioned, we can experience them heat and cold the same way.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, welcome. My pleasure.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. It's remind in Gopinath, Srila Gurudev Radhanath Maharaj is, we are going in Valkeswar, he's so rich person, and Gurudev's father is there, and Maharaj is explaining about the Kuresi story. So when Kuresi is seen, they both are, they seen some diamonds and something that gold, then he just cover with the mitti and salt, and then his wife said that why you are so that her wife is not attracted by that jewelry. So that her wife said, why are you covering the mitti with the mitti, the soul with the soul? So that Prabhuji, today you are inspiring us that we are we are doing some karmas. That's why we are here. We all are like golden chain, silver chain, and iron chain. But we have to get out and by the chanting, attentively chanting and hearing like Pariksit Maharaj. So this Bhakti Sangha from last 3 years, Prabhuji, all Matajis, all teachers are working hard to give a Krishna conscious. Even little Vrinda and little Janvi, they are not able to read and write, but they just by heart all the sloka, morning japa, all Vaishnavas are doing attentively, like feel that sitting in Shri Radha Gopinath, and then Bhagavatam, and then afternoon class 11 o'clock. So Prabhuji, there is some past karma that we get by the Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev mercy so strong association in abroad also. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for a very interesting class. So, Prabhu, my question is about the chronological order, and it was interesting as you were mentioning about the incident happening in Chakshush Manvantara. So my question specifically was, you had related to Prachina Barhishat's story being in Chakshush Manvantara because the descendants of Dhruva Maharaj had Chakshush as one of the sons, or was it that the Prachetas were staying in water till Chakshush Manvantara and they came and then the kingdom was handed over?
Because Uttanapad, Dhruva, that it was because of that.
Descendant line had Chakshusha. So that's why. Okay.
Yes.
So that which could relate in that case that Prithu Maharaj, Vena, all of them were in Chakshush Manvantara, right?
I'll have to check that. King Vena, I'll have to check. Yeah, maybe I'll get back to you on that.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, and very, very nice class. Very interesting. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu, for the nice class. Prabhu, today in this verse, right, 34, Prabhu, sorry.
Yeah.
Narad Muni addresses Prachini Barishat as Anagaha, right? The sinless one. Briefly touched on it, Prabhu, right?
Yeah.
So was Prachini Barishat performing, some material activity, or it was a pious activity, Prabhu, because he was killing so many animals, right?
Yes, it is a materialistic pious activity.
No problem.
Pious activities are also materialistic.
Okay.
Yes, and killing animals is also piety when you do it following the Vedic process, because the soul of the animal gets elevated into a higher form of life. Because if you are sacrificing a horse or if you're sacrificing a cow, the soul is born again as a human. So you are contributing to the spiritual benefit. However, these things are forbidden in the age of Kali Yuga. So therefore, it may seem impious killing animals, but because this was a previous age, this was a bona fide process, and it was considered piety. So he was materially pious.
Okay,
Materially.
so this anaga can be used in the spiritual sense and material sense.
No. It is anaga means it is material. And anaga simply means one who is free from sins. It can be used in any sense. It can be used spiritually also, because even to be spiritual, you have to become free from sins. Krishna says that yeshamantagatam papam jananam punya karmana, that you have to become free from sinful activities to take up to bhakti. So yes, you can say a devotee is also anaga.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, just adding on to Prabhu's question, if it's okay, just had another question. So you were, it was an interesting point that he said about anaga. So we do see when Narada Muni just started.
If there's any corrections, you please, anyone feel like contributing, you may, anyone please contribute. Yes, just in case if I've made an error in saying something. Yeah, please carry on, please.
Oh, no. I just had a follow-up question because Narada Muni did say that when he started speaking to Prachina Barhishat, at one point he says, "Look at the animals that you have killed; they are waiting, for." So how do we connect that to anaga? Because Prabhu asked that question, I had a follow-up question.
Yeah. So there are reactions associated by killing animals. There are cases where the Brahmins make mistakes, and the yagyas don't bear the results, and then what follows is I know when I was in visiting Vrindavan, one Brajbasi who was a tour guide, I asked him, अरे आप क्या कर रहे थे, आप पहले इससे पहले टूर गाइड बनने से पहले आप क्या कर रहे थे? तो he said, उससे पहले मैं पूजा पाठ और यज्ञ करवाता था तिथि के अनुसार. He used to perform these rituals, Vedic rituals, yagyas and things like that. So I asked him that, why did you change your profession? Why did you become a tour guide? So he said that whenever a priest, if they botch up the chanting of mantras or the rituals, if there is any fault in the performance of the ritual, then the ritual does not bear the result, or you get an opposite result. And as a result of that, the reaction goes to the priest. Because if the man has given you money, to perform the ritual, it is your duty to perform it properly. And if you cannot do it properly, then you have to take the result. Partly him and partly you also. So, no one is perfect. That's why Shukracharya says in the Bhagavatam, mantratas tantratas chidram desha kalara vastutah yah karoti nishchidram anusankirtanam. That whenever we perform any ritual, there is bound to be some fault. Some, mantra, something you do. Like somebody was saying that one devotee went to one lady's house, and that lady told, come Prabhuji, हम आपको प्रसाद खिलाएंगे, भोग लगा के प्रसाद खिलाएंगे, आइए बैठिए. So that devotee sat, and this lady went and kept some fruits in the altar, and she started chanting mantra. So what is the mantra? You know that verse, na? Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane Pranata Kleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namah. Mantra. But you know what she's chanting? Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane Pranata Kleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namah. So she made a mistake. What she's chanting? Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane. That is okay. But the third line she made a mistake. She's saying Pranata Kleshanashaya. Oh Lord, my hair, which is like a snake, please let it be destroyed. which means that let me become bald. Govindaya Namo Namah. Now imagine if God would have taken her prayer seriously, what would have happened? So you see, we may all make mistakes when we chant mantras and shlokas and doing all those tantras and mudras, and therefore there are bound to be mistakes, and as a result of that, there will be negative reactions. And that's why it is said that, it's a risky business. Doing yajna is a very, very risky business. The Brahmins have to be perfect in their chanting. And if it's not perfect, then comes a reaction. Then all the animals will be there waiting to take the reactions. Because what is mams? It has been defined in the Manu Samhita. Mamsa bhakshayita mutra etad mamsa mihadmiham etad mamsasya mamsatvam pravadanti manishinaha. Mams, which means meat in Sanskrit, comes from two words, mamsaha. Me and you, we will exchange positions. This life, I am killing you, but I agree that next life, you will kill me. This is the true definition of mamsaha as explained in the Manu Samhita. So if you botch up these ritual, then you have had it. That's it. Therefore, Narada is telling, don't take such a risk. But because Prachina Bari, his anaga, means we have to accept that he has not done any sin. According to the authority of Narada, he is a pious. Today, if we go to do that same ritual, we'll end up in dire consequences, dire straits. That is my understanding, but please correct me if somebody feels there's anything, probably a better explanation.
Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your answer.
So yes, I think so okay, somebody has asked a question here, that you have no dream final stage, that what would be? While in sleeping state, soul will become alert and chant Hare Krishna. We should consider dream or not, sometimes spiritual dream, sometimes material kind of dream. What actually Prabhupada stated about dream. Okay. So dreams. What are dreams basically? That's what I conclude asking, what are dreams exactly? So, well, Prabhupada explained dream as the result, what the mind cooks up out of its experiences of the past. And even in this section, Narada is explaining to Prachina Bari that the mind cannot concoct anything new. It only will put together what he has already experienced. If we visualize a flying mountain, then it only means we have seen a mountain and we have seen a bird. And we combine them and we visualize the flying mountain. That means nothing that the mind visualizes can be out of the mind's experience. Now, we may end up seeing something which we have never experienced in this life. It is possible. And in this section of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained, it is only because we have experienced it in the past life. The mind has had that experience in maybe 100 lives, 200 lives, 1,000 lives back. That impressions are still there. And therefore, one day, the mind gets a vision or a dream. But it is nothing but an imagination. It's not real. It's not real. It's not a reality. It's also temporary. But the experience is real. That means when you see a tiger chasing you, you do not exist, but you feel frightened. You see that you won a lottery ticket of say $1 million and you feel so happy, but when you wake up, you still got the same job. But during the dream, you are very happy. That experience is real, but it is an illusion. Yeah. So you have to tell me when we should wind up, so then I will accordingly.
Prabhu, yeah, I have a follow-up to that answer. If there's time, if I can.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so what then do you say about the dreams that people have involving their spiritual master, or involving other devotees who are of elevated status, or what people call as spiritual dreams? What is your take on that?
Yeah, Rupa Goswami had a dream that he was taken by the gopis and they were feasting on sweet rice, and then when he wakes up he finds that he's got a bad upset stomach, and they diagnose it, and the doctor says yes, he's had a lot of sweet rice. So we hear of such dreams of acharyas, and they are spiritual. Yes, so such spiritual dreams can exist also, but they are for pure devotees. And I'm not in a position to say who has had a spiritual dream and who. There's no way to find out. Only the person will know, and the guru will know, and God will know whether he has had a spiritual dream or he has had a material
dream. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice answer. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So spiritual dreams do exist. Yes, like Shamanand had a spiritual dream. He could see himself in a gopi form. When Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when he came to Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Bhakti Vinod Thakur was making an offering to Radha and Krishna. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur could see his own father in a Manjari form. He could see him as a Kamal Manjari, as a 12-year-old a prepubescent girl making an offering to Radha Krishna.
Was that in his dream?
No, it was a vision. He saw a vision.
Okay.
So therefore, a dream is quite different or quite similar to. It's difficult. There's no difference between a dream and a vision, because everything now merges into one. But that's spiritual, you see. It's a reality also. So he could see his spiritual.
Yeah, I know. Of course, I know that the dreams of pure devotees, those are spiritual. I was specifically referring to, people at the conditioned level, when they have what appears to be spiritual dreams, how to understand that. But you answered that question.
Yeah. It's each one, God knows, and maybe the spiritual master knows. Because so many people end up, waking up and saying, I had a spiritual dream, I had this realization, I had that realization, but they're not realizations actually. If you have a realization, you can never be shaken from it. But if you feel that, oh, I've had a realization that I should improve my chanting, and 1 week down the line, then you give up chanting, that can't be a realization. You can never say I had a realization. Because if you had a realization, it with you. It can't go away.
Yes, that's right.
Realizations never go away. So let us say that I had an inspiration. Let us not use the word realization. Let us not use the word spiritual then. Let us just be honest.
Yeah, I love that.
Modest.
Yes.
Something
Inspiration versus realization. That's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really great. I'm going to add that to my vocabulary. Inspiration.
Yeah, inspiration or something else, some other synonym. You can work it out.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Very, very beautiful class.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Have you all taken a vow to remain anonymous, or am I only the person on video, or why are people not?
Prabhuji.
Okay. All right. Now I can see. All right.
So you were mentioning the story about the Bhishma Dev in his past life. Can you mention his name? Was that?
Dyu.
Okay.
DYU.
Okay. And can you tell the story in the short, please?
Dyu Vasu along with his brothers were traveling when they see Vishishta. He had a cow. It was a Kamdhenu cow, wish-fulfilling cow. It could give milk. It could give anything, actually, whatever you asked for. So he became tempted. He became obsessed with it and he wanted it. So he said, please give me this cow. I will pay you in return. I will give you whatever you want in return. Vashishta said, I am a Brahmin. I don't need anything. I simply have to do my rituals. I have to do my yagyas. I need ghee. I need milk. I need these ingredients. This cow provides me with that. Sorry, I can't part with this. Well, then now he lost his mind. He became possessive and he started grabbing the cow forcibly. Vashishta is a very powerful rishi. Immediately cursed him. You're acting viciously, become a human. So in those days, gods, whenever they would have to curse some god, other god, they would just make them a human being. We pride ourselves in being humans, but actually it's like how when humans curse each other and swear at each other, they say kutte ek gadhe, but actually these are nothing but names of animals, kutta or gadha or suar, it's like that. So when they want to curse each other, they say become a human. So he immediately became remorseful and repentant, and he fell at the feet of this rishi and begged for forgiveness. Said that please, you do something, take it back. So I said, all right, I will. All of them fell at the feet, all the 8 brothers, and he forgave all the 7. He said, all of you 7 brothers, I forgive you. You will only take birth, and then you will be immediately delivered from your situation. Whereas this man, this Dyuvasu, who cast his hand upon my cow, I will curse that he will have to suffer for all of you brothers. And therefore, Bhishma lived a life equivalent to 8 humans. He had an extended lifespan. So therefore, eventually, we know that Shantanu in that dynasty got married to Ganga Devi. Ganga Devi, again, there is a history of Shantanu, who was also a god in this previous life. Ganga was also a goddess in the previous life. And in an assembly, there was a gust of wind and Ganga's cloth just blew off, and all the assembled gods, they looked away, which is gesture of civilized behavior. But Shantanu was so obsessed by the beauty of Ganga that in his previous life, okay, as a god, and he kept on looking at her. Brahma saw that, he did not like it. He cursed Shantanu. He cursed him that you also will have to be human being. And Ganga also got cursed. So both of them again became human. They met each other, they fell in love. Ganga said, I'm a goddess. I will have some conditions if you want to marry me. Never question what I do. Shantanu said, all right, okay, that's quite reasonable. I'll not question you. So then they were married and then they had children. Every time a child was being born, Ganga would take the child and kill the child and drown it into the water. And they were actually 7 times 7 children were killed, and they were all these brothers of Dyuvasu, who were being born and being delivered. And every time the husband would see that the mother killing their own child, he couldn't take it. And then he at one point of time, he questioned her and he said, you can't do this. You're a mother. You can't kill your own child. You've been doing that 7 times. I could not hold myself. I have to ask you, why are you doing this? And then she said, all right, I will not kill this child. However, you've broken your promise. I'll have to go. And then she explains that all these children who were born were cursed, and I was delivering them. I know them from past life. But however, this child has been destined to suffer. He will continue to live and, live out his curse. So then she proceeds. And then Bhishma, as you know, that he suffered a lot. Tremendous suffering. He never was married, though he's a brahmachari kshatriya. Kshatriya is very difficult to be brahmacharis. And that too, not in the ashram. He was living in the palace amongst all those very pretty, beautiful women, Kshatriya women. And management makes you very passionate. But despite all those things, he was a brahmachari. That was a very tough challenge for him. And he had to see a lot. Dhritarashtra, his children, Duryodhan's tantrums, and all those kind of things were there. So many wars. And finally how he died.
Yeah.
It was a miserable life. So that was in short story. You must be knowing all these things.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank
Fast
you so
forward.
much.
Mahabharat
Right.
fast forward.
No, I was not remembering the past one. That one also I read, but
Yeah.
not sure.
Yeah. Then his wife became Amba, Ambika, Ambalika, and then she was again reborn, and
As a
twice, and she
Shikandi.
became Shikandi. Yeah, she became Shikandi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. So therefore, they say we should never hate anybody. Who knows? That person must have been a relative in the past life. You can't say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what is the next? We wind up, or how is that?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Go.
Vardhana Mataji, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for your enlightening class today, Prabhuji, and you're giving us your association. We are very grateful to you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
We
Thank
look
you for having
forward-
me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we look forward to your association again in future, Prabhu.
Thank you.
If
Thank you.
nobody
My
have
pleasure.
any questions, we can end the
My
call
pleasure.
here. Paying obeisances to Prabhuji and all the devotees. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa
Vyascha, Kripa Sindhubhyevacha,
Patitanam
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Humble
Prabhuji.
wishes.
Thank you
Dandavat
so much
pranam.
for the
Dandavat
beautiful
pranam.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. All glories to all of you. Hari Bol.